about diseases of rose. So basically, we are going to talk about major diseases of rose. So first disease is the black spot. Black spot, the causal organism is Diplocarbon rosea, their economic importance. So black spot of rose is a serious problem in Chile and cold climate of temperate regions. So black spot of rose is a serious problem in Chile and cold climate of temperate regions. So the disease cause marked reduction in the size and the number of flowers. So basically, like if black spot will be there, that means it will be directly effect on the yield. So the symptoms are like due to this disease, the size and the number of the flowers will be less. So the symptoms are like black lesions with feathery margins surrounded by yellow tissue and found on the leaves. So infected leaves drop prematurely and purple, red, bumpy areas on first year gains may be evident. Plants may be weak due to defoliation and reduced flower production may be observed. So basically, you can easily find the symptoms like black lesions with feathery margins. So they will be surrounded by yellow tissue are found on the leaves. So infected leaves they will be dropped prematurely. So due to the leaf foliation, the size or the number of the flower will be also less. So there will be purple, red, bumpy areas on first year which canes may be evident. So the plants may be weak due to the defoliation and reduced flower production may be observed. So these are the main symptoms of black spot disease of rose. Like you can see here the leaf, and these are the black spots on the leaves. So finally the spores they will be enlarged and basically they will be merged, and after that the entire leaf which will be showing black in color, and after that they will be defoliate. Mode of spread and survival. So the fungal spores are spread primarily by splashing rain or water. Germination of the spores and infection occur when free water remains on the leaf surface for a period of 6 hours or longer. So basically, the fungal spores they will be spread by splashing of rainwater, because whenever the rain will be there, then with the rainwater, the spores they will be splashed from one place to another place, and this kind they will be infect the plant and other plants also. So, germination of the spores and infection occur when free water remains on the leaf surface, because if the water will be remains on the leaf surface, that means the pathogen those can easily feed on the leaves, and they can cause the disease or they can absorb their nutrients from the leaf. So leaf surface for a period of 6 hours or longer. That means if the water drop, or we can say that the spores, those are present in the rainwater, and the water which will be remains up to 6 hours on the leaves of the rose, in that case they will be infect the plant easily. So leaf spore develop within 5 to 10 days. So it will be take the time 5 to 10 days. Their management. So rows should be planted where the sun can quickly dry the night's dew. So space roses far enough apart for good air circulation, avoid overhead watering, and keep foliage and dry as possible. That means space which roses far enough apart from good circulation, because if there will be good air circulation will be there, in that case the growth of the plant will be more. And the water should be not stagnation at the particular place, because due to the water stagnation and in this condition basically the fungi which will be grow more, because humidity will be there, and in humidity the fungus will be grow very fast. So remove infected canes and burn diseased leaves. So directly we have to remove the infected leaves, or we have to burn the diseased leaves. So spraying with mancozeb or chlorothalonil 0.2% or venom oil, that is 0.1%, or a copper dust. So these are the management of the disease, that is the leaf spot or black leaf spot of rose. Then the next disease is the powdery mildew. Like powdery mildew disease, which basically occurs in mostly all the crops, and the symptoms will be same, but the pathogen will be different in different species of plants. So the causal organism of powdery mildew disease, that is Sphaerotheca panosa. So economic importance, like it is one of the widely distributed disease of rose. Powdery mildew is prevalent during October to January in South India and December to February in North India. So basically the powdery mildew disease, which is a major disease in the rose, and it is widely distributed in India. So basically in different regions, the season or the timing of the powdery mildew disease will be different. Okay, like in South India it will be at different time, and in North India it will be different time, because it will be depends on the temperature. Symptoms, like the symptoms appears as grayish white powdery substance on the surface of young leaves, shoots and buds. So infected leaves may be distorted and some leaf drop may occur. Flower buds may fail to open, and those that do may produce poor quality flowers. So the flower bud, they will be fail to open. Basically the buds will be there, the flower bud will be there, but they will be not open, and those they do may produce poor quality flowers. So like sometime there will be different types of flower in which lack of the leaves. If rose flower is there and the flower is completely open in some cases, then basically the number of the leaves will be less. So it can occur almost any time during the growing season when temperatures are mild, 70 to 80 Fahrenheit, and the relative humidity is high at night and low during the day. Okay, so basically at this temperature and during this season, whenever the temperature will be 70 to 80 Fahrenheit and the relative humidity will be also high at night and low during the day. So it is most severe in shady areas and during cooler period. So basically, the pathogen if infect the plant during the cooler periods and whenever the temperature will be less. So these are the symptoms of the disease, powdery mildew disease. So basically, like on the leaf surface, the powder-like structure and the appearance looks like a powder. Okay, and the flower which is like not fully developed and not completely healthy plant, and the leaves of the rose flower they will be easily defoliate. So mode of spread and survival of the pathogen. So basically the fungus over winters as mycelium in dormant buds and shoots which are not entirely killed. So basically, during the winters, the mycelium which will be grow and mycelium in dormant buds and shoots which are not entirely killed. Either conidia or ascospores serve as primary inoculum. Like powdery mildew disease, in which basically two types of spore will be formed, like conidia or ascospores. So these spores which will be serves as primary inoculum. So the secondary spread is throat, wind, bone conidia. Like firstly, a primary infection or the primary inoculum, which will be occur due to the conidia or ascospore, and the secondary, so they will be wind-borne conidia. So management, like collection and burning of fallen leaves, spray with wettable sulfur 0.3% or Dinocap 0.07% or carbendazim should be 0.1% to 2 to 3 spray at 15 days interval. It will be effective. So the sulfur dust at 25 kg per hectare, use of sulfur at higher temperature condition will be phytotoxic. Like sulfur dust, it should be 25 kg per hectare, and the use of the sulfur at higher temperature, so they will be phytotoxic. Phytotoxic, that means if during the high temperature, if the use of sulfur will be there, then it will be like the plant will be harmed. Okay, and it will be show phytotoxicity, or it will be work as a toxin for the plant. Then the next disease is the dieback disease of rose, and the pathogen is Diplodia rosarum. Economic importance, like in India, it was first reported in 1961 from Delhi. Now it occurs in all the rose growing areas. So the symptoms are like drying of twigs from tip downwards, blackening of the twigs, the disease spreads to root and causes complete killing of the plant. So, like according to the name, dieback disease is there, so it will be directly cause the death of the plant. Like these are the symptoms of the disease, dieback disease, and the stem which is showing black in color. So, mode of spread and survival. So, the fungus persists in dead twigs and the stalks of the whiter blooms. The management, like pruning, should be done so that lesions on the young shoots will be eliminated. Apply Chaubatia paste in the pruned area. Spray with COC 0.2% or difolitin 0.2% or chlorothalonil, it should be 0.2% or mancozeb, it should be 0.2%. So these are the management for the dieback disease of rose. Then next disease is rust disease of rose. The causal organism is rust disease, and the pathogen is Pyramidum mucoronatum. So their economic importance, like rose rust, is restricted to higher altitude. It occurs in Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Punjab, Tamil Nadu, and UP. Outbreaks of rust disease was reported from Udaipur, district of the Rajasthan, in the variety that is Cheti Gulab. So their symptoms, like damage to lemon yellow postulates, appear on lower surface of the leaves and stem. So then the color changes to blackish red. So the affected leaves, which turn yellow, deformed, and they will be fall prematurely. The color will be changes to blackish red, and the affected leaves turn yellow, deformed, and fall prematurely. Dieback symptoms also appear due to weakening of the plant. So, due to this disease, the plant will be totally weak. So, their management, like collection and burning of fallen leaves, spray with carboxin 0.1% or weightable sulfur, that is 0.25% or captain 0.2%. So these are the symptoms of rust disease of rose. Okay. Next is diseases of mango. Diseases of mango. So powdery mildew disease, which caused by the Oidium mangiferi, anthracnose disease, which caused by Coletrotrichum gliosporioides, mango malformation, which caused by Fusarium molliforme, sooty mold, which caused by Capnodium, red rust, which caused by Cephalurus virescens, that is the algae, and the black tip disease, which caused by black tip or chimney disease. Okay. So first disease is the powdery mildew disease. Powdery mildew, the causal organism is Oidium mangiferi. Their economic importance, like the disease is worldwide in distribution, reported from India, Pakistan, Ceylon, and South Africa. So in India, the disease is particularly destructive in UP, Maharashtra, and Karnataka. So severe particularly during the months of December to March, and these are the cooler months. So basically the powdery mildew disease and the pathogen which basically grow in the, like whenever the temperature will be low, and the powdery mildew disease which basically cause in this type of environment, and they require low temperature for their growth. And basically the powdery mildew disease, which is a very common disease, and their distribution is the worldwide. So what are the symptoms? The disease is easily recognized by whitish or grayish powdery growth on the inflorescence and tender leaves. So basically the symptoms of the powdery mildew disease are common in all plants. So generally, the infection start from the inflorescence and spreads downwards, covering the floral axis, tender leaves and stem. Infected leaves become twisted, curled, and they will be fall. So, infected floral parts are severely damaged and drop off. If the fruits are set, they do not grow in size and may drop before attaining pea size. So, the fruits are sometimes malformed, discolored due to severe mildew attack. So, because of poor fruit set and heavy flower and fruits drop, the loss due to the disease may be as high as 70 to 80%. Like these are the symptoms of powdery mildew disease of mango. We can easily identify the symptoms because there is the powder like structure on the leaf surface and also on the branches. So here the mango panicle, those are affected by powdery mildew disease and white powdery growth and low fruit set. The pathogen, the mycelium is ectophytic. Ectophytic, that means the mycelium which will be on the surface of the host or they will be only on the outer surface of the host and they will be upper side. Like endophytic, that means the mycelium which is inside the plant or inside the cells, or ectophytic, that means their appearance will be external. Conidiophores short, high align, and conidia single cell, barrel shaped production and produced in chain, and fungus is the oidium type. So mode of survival and spread: survives as dormant mycelium in affected leaves, secondary spread by airborne conidia, and their favorable conditions like disease spread is favored by warm, humid, humid weather with cool nights. So these are the favorable conditions for the pathogen. After that, disease cycle. Disease cycle, like spores blown wind from infected areas readily adhere to hairy, unopened flowers near tip of the inflorescence and germinate in 5 to 7 hours. So the fungus grows rapidly during the cloudy weather, accompanied with heavy morning, warm, humid weather, and low night temperature, which favor the dissemination of the pathogen. Overall, disease development is favored by high humidity. So their management, like to preventive or to prevent spray with wettable sulfur 0.3% before flowers open and after the fruit set. Only twice it will be required before opening or after the fruit set. Testing twice or thrice with fine sulfur. Spraying with Kerathan 0.1% before flowering and after fruit set peanut stage. So resistant varieties Neelam, Jardalu, Bangalora, Torapari Khurd and Janardhar Pasand. These all are the resistant varieties of mango. Next disease is the anthracnose disease. The causal organism is Coletrotrichum gliosporidios and Glomerilla cingulata. So their economic importance, like it reported from several districts of Punjab in 1939 and now prevalent in all mango growing tracts of the country. Basically, like this disease, which firstly reported in Punjab in 1939. So, if that time it was quarantine. In that case, the disease will be not spread in everywhere. Okay, but on that time there was no different types of agencies or no, like plant quarantine was not there and it was not fully developed. That's why the diseases which are reported only on in a particular area, if they will be also quarantine, that means if we will stop their transportation from one place to another place, then we can control the disease. Okay, but now the prevalent in all mango growing tracts of the country, the same disease is there. So the disease is a problem both in the field and storage. Like Neelam and Bangalore are most susceptible. Their symptoms, like the fungus produces leaf spots, blossom blight, whiter tip, wax blight, and fruit rot. On leaves, circular, light yellow brown spots are produced initially, which soon enlarge with dark brown to black margins. So, if infection is the infection is severe, so the individual spores coleons leading to twisting of foliage and premature defoliation will be there. So whenever if defoliation is there, that means now it will be directly effect on the yield, because if premature defoliation are there, now the fruits will be not produced properly, because now there will be lack of the food. So the disease is spread rapidly during rainy season and covers the tender twigs, causing them to wither on inflorescence stalks and flowers. Uh, Minute spores are produced, which increase in size and cause flower drop to symptoms, hence is called blossom blight. Okay. So the sucker spores appear on fruits near the stem and as small brown areas that enlarge rapidly and become black. So, in some cases, the areas involved are in the form of streaks running down from the stem and fruit pulp beneath. The spores become hard, followed by cracking and decay at resulting. Sorry, and decay at ripening. Like whenever the fruits will be ripe, or during the ripening, the fruits will be cracked in between. So the decay is conformed to the skin of the fruit, except the except in late stage where it penetrates the flesh in shallow areas. Infected fruits may also drop off prematurely. So, latent infection is carried from the field and develops further, which causes rotting of the storage. So, these are the symptoms. In first, you can see anthracnose symptoms, then single lesion on ripened fruit. Like here, uh, in A you can find and you can see the symptoms are there and the fruit is also ripening and the same time there is the single lesions on the fruit. Then in next, lesion all over fruit surface. In next, tear stain pattern, leaves and early infection on panicle. Then in third diagram or in C, these are the tear strand pattern. Then next is the leaves and early infection on a panicle. And that is the leaf phase of anthracnose disease or the plant which is infected by the anthracnose disease. So here the color of the leaves which is also changed, like it is from green to lemon yellow in color and different types of branches are there. Here, a mango tree which is showing the symptoms of anthracnose. Like these, all are the symptoms of anthracnose disease. And these are the symptoms on the leaves and inflorescence and the effect or the and these are the infected fruits. So basically, firstly the spores will be there and then the fruits will be cracked in between. The pathogen Mycelium septate and colored, Conidia single cell, hyaline smell, small and elongated mode of survival and spread, that is on dried leaves, defoliated branches, mummified flowers, and flower brackets. Contact with diseased fruit during transport and export or storage, and the secondary spread is through the airborne conidia. So basically, the first infection or the primary inoculum, which will be basically during the transport and storage. Like there is the storage of the mango fruit. Then, if only a single fruit which will be infected by the disease, in that case, the pathogen which will be infect to all the fruits. And the secondary spread which will be through the airborne conidia. Favorable conditions like temperature 25 degrees centigrade and relative humidity, that is 95 to 97%, and injuries to fruits at harvest and in storage. So basically, the temperature should be 25 degrees centigrade, because at this temperature, the pathogen which will be very strong, and it require the relative humidity is 95 to 97%. Injuries to fruits at harvest and in storage. Like at the time of harvesting or at the time of storage, the fruit will be injured. The disease cycle, the survival of pathogen is detached disease, twigs and leaves laying on surface of soil, and in diseased twigs attached to the tree. So they successfully reproduce the disease by inoculating leaves, petioles, stems, and fruits. So the optimum temperature for the uh, for infection was found to be 25 degrees centigrade. So here the 25 degrees centigrade is the optimum temperature, okay, on which the pathogen can grow easily. So the disease is spread rapidly in the rainy season, cloudy and misty weather during flowering favors damage to the infected floral parts. So the pathogen causes severe leaf spotting, the appearance of spots in more concentration at stem end, and the sometimes in stripes down the sides of the fruits, which is suggested distribution of spores by rainwater over surface of the fruit. So the fungus can enter the pores of green fruits. The latent infection of the latent infection of mature fruits may take place through the lenticle. The fungus apparently infect the fruit while it is green and develops in flesh during the ripening. Their management, like we have to avoid overcrowding in orchards, because if overcrowding will be there, then plant will be not developed properly, and due to the like if space will be not there, then the relative humidity will be more, or due to the humidity the fungus will be like it will be grow very fast. So we have to like the tree sanitation is important. Diseased twigs are to be pruned and burned along with fallen leaves and fruits. So that is the good management and good management practices. If any part is infected, then firstly we have to remove that particular part. Then spray of carbendazim or thiophanate methyl, that is 0.1%, or chlorothionyl 0.2% at 14 days interval from fruit set until the harvest. So before storage, treat the fruits with hot water, that is 50 to 55 degrees centigrade for 15 minutes, or dip in Benomyl solution. Solution is 500 ppm. ppm, that means parts per million. Okay, or thiobenzadol, that is 1000 ppm for 5 minutes, or expose them to ammonia and sulfur dioxide gases. So these are the management of the disease. Like basically there are the chemical, and these are the chemical and chemical treatment which we can do for this kind of disease. And some cultural practices are also there by which we can manage the disease, like we have to remove the particular infected parts, like if any leaf which is infected, in that case we have to just remove that leaf. Okay, and spray of the different chemicals, but like we are using the chemicals, so their concentration will be very little. Okay, like it should be only in the ppm. Otherwise we can also sanitize the plant by which because the mycelium, which is ectophytotic and ectophytotic, that means it will be only on the surface of the plant. That's why here we can say that we have to spray on the plant by which we can manage the disease. Thank you.